Hello and welcome to Fluent English Journey. This is your space to learn English naturally, speak clearly, and feel confident in everyday conversations. Here, we make English simple, fun, and easy to practice through listening, speaking, and interactive exercises, step by step, slowly and clearly, perfect for beginners and B1 learners. If you want to speak English like a storyteller, understand real conversations, and enjoy every word you say, you've come to the right place. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a new lesson. Let's start your English adventure together. Listen carefully, speak confidently, and enjoy the journey. Have you ever walked into a shop and noticed that the price of bread, milk, or even your favorite chocolate has gone up? Maybe just a little, or maybe a lot. You stop for a moment and think, why does everything seem more expensive than before? Today, we will explore a story that happens all around the world, in every city, every town, every home. It is a story called inflation. Now, I know the word might sound a little big or difficult, but don't worry, we will learn it slowly, step by step, with simple words. Imagine you are walking in a small town market. You have $10 in your pocket. You want to buy bread, milk, eggs, and a few fruits. Last year, $10 could get you everything. But today, when you reach the shop, you are surprised. Bread costs a little more, milk is a little more expensive, and the eggs? They are almost double the price. You count your money and realize, oh no, I cannot buy everything with $10 anymore. This feeling is common, and the reason is called inflation. Inflation is when prices of goods and services rise over time. In simple words, it means money becomes less powerful. A dollar, or any money, cannot buy as much as before. But why does this happen? Why do prices rise? Let's imagine a simple story. There is a small bakery in your town called Sunny Bakery. Last year, the bakery used flour, sugar, and eggs to make bread. Flour cost $1, sugar 50 cents, and eggs $2 for a dozen. Now, the bakery wants to make bread again this year. But suddenly, the flour costs $1.50, sugar is 75 cents, and eggs are $3. The bakery owner thinks, oh no, my bread will cost more to make. If I sell it at the same price, I will lose money. So, I must raise the price a little. And this is how inflation begins slowly, like water rising in a small river. One price rises, then another, then another. You, the buyer, notice that your money doesn't go as far as before. This simple example is just the start of our story. But inflation is not always bad. Sometimes, a little inflation shows that the economy is growing. People are buying more, businesses are making more, and wages may slowly rise. However, if inflation rises too fast, it can be very difficult. Imagine the price of bread doubles in 1 month. People may not have enough money to buy food. They feel worried. Shops may run out of goods. The economy slows down, and life becomes stressful. Now, think about your own life. Maybe last month, your favorite candy cost $1. Today, it costs $1.20. You may say, it's just 20 cents, it's okay. But imagine if everything you buy rises by 20% month after month. Your small savings, your daily spending, your plans for the future, all change. This is why inflation matters to everyone, even children and students. Let's pause for a moment and imagine you're a small business owner. You make cakes and sell them in your town. You notice that the cost of sugar and milk has doubled. Your customers cannot pay more than before. What do? Do you reduce the size of your cakes, raise the price, or sell fewer cakes? This is the real challenge that many people face during inflation. Inflation is a story of money, prices, people, and choices. It is not only numbers in a newspaper or a chart on TV. It is part of our daily life. From the bread we eat, the fuel we use, to the rent we pay, inflation quietly touches everything. So, in this video, we will walk together through this story. We will explore why prices rise, how governments try to control inflation, what people do to survive during high inflation, and how we can make smart decisions with money. We will meet small business owners, families, and even children who feel the effect of inflation. And through their stories, we will practice English, learn new words, and listen carefully to understand the flow of the story. Before we move forward, here is a question for you. Think about the last thing you bought. Did its price change compared to last month or last year? How did you feel? Was it surprising, annoying, or just normal? Keep this thought in your mind, because soon we will meet people just like you and hear their stories about inflation. Now, take a deep breath and imagine you are walking through your town market again. You see colorful fruits, fresh vegetables, and warm bread. Prices are rising, but people are still smiling, hoping for a better day. This is where our story begins, and our journey to understand inflation starts. Have you ever wondered why bread, milk, or even your favorite ice cream slowly becomes more expensive? It seems like an invisible force is at work, changing prices without anyone seeing it. Today, we will uncover this invisible force called inflation and why it affects every part of our life. Imagine a sunny morning. You are walking to school or work, and you pass a small coffee shop. Last week, a cup of coffee cost $2. Today, the price is $2.20. You stop and think, just 20 cents? That's not much. But now, imagine every item you buy every week slowly increases by 20 cents, 50 cents, $1. Over a few months, your small pocket money is not enough. That is the slow power of inflation. Inflation is like a river. Sometimes it flows slowly, almost quietly. Other times it grows fast, like a flood. But what makes this river rise? Why do prices go up? Let's explore. First, there is demand. When many people want something, the price rises. Imagine a new phone is released. Everyone wants it, but the shops have only a few. The price goes up because people are ready to pay more. This is simple. When demand is higher than supply, prices increase. Second, there is supply. If there is less of something, it becomes expensive. For example, imagine a farmer grows apples. This year, the weather was not good. The harvest is smaller. Fewer apples reach the market, but people still want them. So, the price goes up. Supply and demand together are a simple but strong reason why prices rise. But there is more. Sometimes, the cost of making things increases. Imagine your favorite bakery again. Flour, sugar, eggs, and even electricity for the oven cost more. If the bakery wants to keep making bread, it must increase the price. This is called cost-push inflation. It is like a hidden push that makes everything a little more expensive. And then, there is money itself. Sometimes, governments print more money. It sounds simple, more money for people. But here is the tricky part. If there is more money but the same number of goods, each dollar buys less. Prices rise quietly, like fog spreading over the city. Economists call this monetary inflation. Now, let's bring it closer to life. Think about a family in a small town. The father works in a factory, the mother sells vegetables in the market, and they have 2 children in school. Every month, the family earns enough to cover food, rent, and school. Suddenly, prices start to rise. Bread costs more, milk costs more, and electricity bills are higher. The family feels pressure. They have to make choices, buy less, save money, or find new ways to earn more. Inflation is not just about numbers in a bank account or prices on a shelf. It affects real people, real families, real decisions. That is why understanding it is so important. But here is an interesting question. Can inflation ever be good? It sounds strange, right? Yes, it can. A little inflation shows that people are buying more, businesses are growing, and the economy is moving. But too much inflation is dangerous. It is like a small fire. If controlled, it gives warmth and light. If uncontrolled, it can burn the whole house. Let's imagine a young student, Anna. She loves reading and dreams of going to college. Last year, she could buy 5 books with her savings. This year, she can only buy 3 because prices are higher. She feels disappointed. But Anna is clever. She learns to borrow books from the library, share with friends, and even write summaries to save money. She adapts. She learns an important lesson. When prices rise, we must think, plan, and act wisely. Now, think about your own life. Maybe your favorite snack costs more this week. Maybe your bus ticket is higher. How do you feel? Do you ignore it, complain, or plan differently? These small choices every day are part of the story of inflation. Before we move forward, let's pause and imagine a market scene. People are buying vegetables, fruits, bread, and milk. Prices are slowly rising, and everyone notices. Some smile, some worry, some plan carefully. You, walking through the market, feel the change. You notice small signs, the cashier counting carefully, the shopkeeper adjusting prices, the baker talking to suppliers. Inflation is not just a word. It is alive, moving quietly in everyday life. And now, a thought for you. If prices continue to rise, what small changes could you make in your daily life? Saving a little money, buying only what you need, or learning new skills to earn more. These are the stories of real people facing inflation. And as we continue, we will meet more stories, more lessons, and more ways to understand how money, prices, and choices shape our world. Take a deep breath. Imagine walking past the coffee shop again, seeing the price change, noticing how people react, and feeling the invisible river of inflation around you. This is only the beginning of our journey. Next, we will meet people who live through high inflation and see how they adapt, survive, and sometimes even succeed. Imagine a small town, early morning. The sun is rising slowly, birds are singing, and the streets are filling with people walking to work or school. In one small house, the Ahmed family is sitting at the breakfast table. Father, mother, and 2 children, all looking at the prices on yesterday's grocery bill. The total is higher than last week. The father sighs and says, "We have to be careful this week. Prices are rising again." This is the reality for millions of families around the world. Inflation is not only about numbers, it is about daily life. Every meal, every trip, every small decision counts. Families must think carefully what to buy, what to save, what to wait for. Let's look closer. Mother opens the fridge. She wants to make breakfast for the children. Eggs, milk, bread, vegetables. She notices prices rising. Last month, eggs were $2, today $3. Milk is a little higher. She has to decide, buy the same quantity, reduce it, or find alternatives. Maybe she buys less meat, more beans, or smaller portions of cheese. These small choices are part of her fight against inflation. Now, imagine the father working at a factory. His salary is fixed, the same as last year. But now, prices are higher. He notices that his savings are shrinking. What can he do? Maybe he looks for extra work. Maybe he changes his shopping habits. Maybe he starts growing vegetables at home. Families adapt. They learn small tricks to make their money go further. And it's not just families. Small businesses face the same challenge. Think of Mr. Kareem, a baker who owns a small shop called Sweet Bread Bakery. Flour costs more, sugar costs more, even electricity for the oven costs more. If he sells bread at the old price, he loses money. If he raises the price too high, customers may not buy. What should he do? Mr. Kareem thinks carefully. He reduces the size of some bread slightly, but keeps the taste the same. He finds a new supplier for sugar, cheaper but good quality. He even introduces a new product, small cakes at a lower price, so customers can still enjoy a treat. These small adjustments are how businesses survive during inflation. Now, imagine the children in the Ahmed family walking to school. They notice that their favorite snacks cost more at the corner shop. They ask their mother, "Why is chocolate more expensive?" The mother explains gently, using simple words, "Prices are rising because money is not as strong as before. We need to be careful and buy only what we need." Children learn quickly. They start saving coins, sharing snacks with friends, and thinking about money in a new way. This shows something important. Inflation is not only a challenge. It is also a teacher. It teaches families to plan, businesses to adapt, and children to understand the value of money. But sometimes, inflation rises fast and people feel worried. Imagine a town where prices double in a few months. Bread that cost $2 now costs $4. Families may skip meals, reduce spending on school or clothes, and businesses may close. Life becomes harder and stress rises. In these situations, governments and banks often step in to help, trying to control inflation and protect people. Here is a story from real life. In a country far away, a small shopkeeper named Lena sells vegetables. One day, the price of tomatoes suddenly doubled. Lena could not raise her prices immediately because her customers were poor and could not pay more. She decided to buy smaller quantities, offer small discounts, and sometimes even give free vegetables to children. Her customers trusted her, and slowly, the situation stabilized. Lena's clever planning shows that even during inflation, smart decisions, kindness, and planning can make life better. Now, think about your own life. Imagine you run a small shop, or your family is managing money carefully. Prices are rising. How would you plan? Buy less, save money, work more, or find alternatives? These are the real skills people use every day during inflation. Here is a question for you. If your favorite snack doubled in price tomorrow, what would you do? Would you stop buying it, find a cheaper option, or save more money to buy it later? Take a moment and imagine your choice. This small reflection helps you think like a family, like a business owner, and like a smart consumer. As we continue our journey, we will meet more stories from different towns, cities, and even countries. We will see how people, just like you and me, face challenges, make choices, and sometimes even find opportunities during inflation. Each story helps us understand the invisible force behind prices, and each story gives U.S. English practice, listening, understanding, and imagining. So, take a deep breath, imagine the busy streets, the small shops, and the families preparing for the day. Feel the flow of life, the small challenges, and the clever solutions people find. Inflation may seem invisible, but it is everywhere, in breakfast tables, school corridors, bakery ovens, and grocery shelves. And as we continue, we will explore how governments, banks, and communities try to control inflation and keep life balanced. Imagine a city buzzing with life. Cars honk, markets are busy, children laugh on the streets, and shops are full of people. But behind this lively scene, something invisible is happening. Prices are rising. Bread, milk, eggs, even bus tickets, they all cost more. Families are worried, businesses are planning carefully, and the government notices the change too. But how can they help? This is where governments and banks step in. Governments have tools to control inflation. One simple way is by changing taxes. Imagine you run a small shop. If the government reduces taxes on essential goods, like food and medicine, these items become cheaper for people. Families can buy more, and the pressure of inflation becomes a little easier. But governments cannot reduce taxes on everything because they need money to build schools, hospitals, and roads. So they balance carefully, trying to help people without harming the country's plans. Banks also play an important role. Central banks, like the Federal Reserve in the United States or other central banks around the world, can control the amount of money in the economy. Imagine too much money in the market. People have more money to spend, but the number of goods is the same. Prices rise. To slow inflation, banks may increase interest rates. But what does that mean? Let's simplify. If you borrow money from a bank, you pay extra money called interest. If interest rates are high, people borrow less money. If people borrow less, they spend less. When spending slows down, prices stop rising so quickly. It is like a small brake on a fast bicycle. The goal is to slow the rise of prices without stopping life completely. Sometimes, governments also try to control prices directly. For example, they may say that bread, milk, or fuel cannot rise above a certain price. This is called price control. It helps families, but it is not perfect. Sometimes, shops may run out of goods, or suppliers may not want to sell at the lower price. So governments must plan carefully, balancing the needs of people and businesses. Now, let's imagine a story. Mr. Kareem, the baker we met earlier, notices that the government has reduced taxes on flour. Flour costs less now. He smiles and adjusts his prices slightly. His customers are happy because bread is more affordable, and he still earns enough to keep his bakery running. This is a simple example of how government decisions affect daily life. But controlling inflation is not only about numbers. It is also about trust and communication. Governments and banks must communicate clearly with people. Why are prices rising? What is being done? How can families plan? People who understand the situation make better decisions. They save more, spend wisely, and support local businesses. This trust is part of the invisible solution to inflation. Now, imagine a classroom. The teacher asks, "What would you do if prices doubled tomorrow?" Some children say, "I will stop buying sweets." Others say, "I will save more money." Some say, "I will find new ways to earn money." The teacher smiles and explains, that is how families, businesses, and governments think every day. Everyone has to plan, adapt, and make smart choices. Inflation is like a river, as we said before. Sometimes it rises slowly, sometimes fast. Governments and banks are like the people building small dams or directing water. Their tools may not stop the river completely, but they help control the flow, so families and businesses can live safely. Think about your own life. If your parents plan carefully, save money, and buy wisely, they are like small governments controlling the household budget. If banks give loans with interest, they also influence how families spend. Everything is connected: people, businesses, banks, and governments. Inflation may feel invisible, but every decision helps shape it. Before we move forward, take a moment to imagine your city. Streets are busy, shops are full, and families are shopping carefully. Governments are adjusting taxes, banks are setting interest rates, and people are making choices. This is a dance of money, prices, and decisions. It affects you, your family, and everyone around you. And the next part of our story will explore how people adapt personally to high inflation, using clever strategies, daily routines, and small choices that make life easier. Imagine waking up in your cozy room. The sun is shining, but outside, prices are rising. Bread costs more, milk costs more, even your bus ticket is higher. You feel a little worried. But here is the good news: people can adapt. They can plan, save, and make clever choices. Today, we will explore how families and individuals survive and sometimes even thrive during inflation. Let's start with planning and budgeting. Imagine the Ahmed family again. Mother sits with a notebook, writing down everything they spend money on. She counts food, rent, school supplies, electricity, and small treats. She notices patterns. We spend a lot on snacks, she thinks. Maybe we can reduce that and save money for essentials. This simple act of planning helps families control their money. It is like using a map in a forest. Without it, you may get lost. With it, you know where to go. Next is smart shopping. Think about your local market. Prices can vary from shop to shop. Some shops have discounts, some have promotions. Families who watch prices carefully can buy the same items for less money. Sometimes, they buy in bulk if it is cheaper. Sometimes, they wait for sales. These small decisions add up over time. Imagine saving just $1 on bread every day. At the end of the month, that is $30 saved, enough for a small treat or an emergency. Another important strategy is substitution. This means buying a cheaper alternative. For example, if apples are expensive, buy bananas. If beef is too costly, buy chicken or beans. These small choices keep your meals healthy and your wallet safe. Anna, the student we met earlier, learned this skill quickly. She swapped expensive snacks for fruits and nuts, and she even started making small snacks at home. She saved money and learned a useful skill. Now, let's talk about earning extra income. Some families grow vegetables in small gardens. Others sell homemade products like cakes or crafts. Even small income can make a difference when prices are high. Mr. Kareem, the baker, started teaching young children how to bake on weekends. He earned extra money and built a loyal community around his bakery. This shows that creativity and hard work help people thrive, even during inflation. Saving and investing is also important. Families save small amounts of money, even if it seems tiny. Maybe $5 a week goes into a jar or a bank account. Over time, this adds up. Some people even invest in small things that grow in value, like gold, plants, or skills. These small choices protect them from rising prices in the future. But survival is not only about money. It is also about being calm and wise. Inflation can make people anxious, but panic can make the situation worse. Imagine rushing to buy everything at once because you fear prices will rise tomorrow. You may spend more than you need. Calm thinking, planning, and patience help people make smart decisions. Here is a story. In a town far away, a small shopkeeper named Lena noticed prices rising quickly. She could panic, raise prices, or stop selling. Instead, she planned carefully. She offered small portions at lower prices, gave discounts to children, and encouraged families to plan meals. Slowly, her shop became more popular. People trusted her, and she maintained her income. Lena's calm, wise choices helped her survive and even grow during difficult times. Now, think about your life. Maybe you're a student, or maybe you help your family at home. Prices may rise, but small choices, planning, saving, smart shopping, learning new skills can make a big difference. Inflation is not only a challenge. It is also an opportunity to learn, grow, and think carefully about money. Before we move on, take a moment and imagine a busy week in your home. Breakfast, lunch, school, shopping, work. You notice small ways to save money, using leftover food, sharing snacks, or walking instead of taking a bus. These small acts may seem tiny, but they add up. They help your family survive inflation, and they also teach you valuable lessons about money, planning, and patience. As we continue our journey, we will explore the long-term effects of inflation on families, businesses, and communities. We will also see how people adjust their lives, make big decisions, and prepare for the future. This is not just a story about money. It is a story about life, planning, and smart choices that anyone can understand and practice. Imagine opening a newspaper or turning on the TV. You see news from different countries, prices rising in one city, shops running out of goods in another, families worried everywhere. Inflation is not only in your town or country, it happens all over the world. Today, we will travel in our minds to see how different countries face this invisible force called inflation. Let's start with a story from a city far away. In Argentina, a country in South America, prices rise very quickly. One month, bread costs $2. A few months later, it costs $4. Families must plan carefully every day. Parents count money, children learn to save, and small shops adjust prices constantly. Imagine walking through the streets of Buenos Aires. People carry baskets of food, shops have signs with new prices, and families whisper about what they can afford. This is life during high inflation. Now, let's visit another place, Japan. In Japan, prices rise very slowly. Families may notice small changes in food or fuel, but life feels more stable. Children may buy the same candy as last year, and parents plan their budgets with ease. Here, inflation is low, almost like a slow river. People feel calm, and businesses can plan for the future. Why is inflation different in each country? There are many reasons. How much money is in the economy, how strong the government and banks are, how much people spend, and even natural events like weather or harvests. Imagine two bakeries, one in Argentina and one in Japan. Both make bread. In Argentina, the price of flour may rise quickly. In Japan, it rises slowly. The bakeries must plan differently, and families feel the change in different ways. Let's visit Europe. In Germany, prices may rise a little each year. Families feel it slowly and can plan. But in countries facing crises, like some in Africa, prices can jump suddenly. Bread, milk, and fuel can become expensive very fast. Families adjust quickly. They buy less, share food, grow small gardens, or start small businesses. Life teaches lessons about survival, creativity, and planning. Even in the United States, prices rise slowly most years. A cup of coffee may cost 20 cents more than last year. Gas may be a little higher. Families notice, but they often adjust by saving, spending wisely, or earning extra money. Inflation is like a rhythm, sometimes fast, sometimes slow, but always present. Now, imagine a child named Sammy living in a small town in Egypt. Sammy's family notices prices rising. Bread costs a little more, milk a little more, fuel a little more. Sammy asks, "Why does this happen?" His father explains gently, prices change because money loses value or because goods cost more. It happens in many countries, Sammy, not just ours. Sammy learns early about money, prices, and planning. He becomes curious, watching how his family adapts, learning skills that will help him in the future. Here is an important point. Inflation may feel different, but it touches everyone everywhere. In some countries, it rises slowly and life feels normal. In others, it rises fast and families must act quickly. But in every case, people adapt. They plan, save, change habits, and support each other. Inflation may be invisible, but people's response is visible and powerful. Let's take a moment to imagine this global scene. Streets in Buenos Aires, Tokyo, Berlin, Cairo, and New York. Shops, families, children, workers, and students. Prices rise, sometimes slowly, sometimes quickly. Families adjust. Businesses plan. Governments act. Banks intervene. Every place faces the same invisible river of inflation, but each responds differently. Now, think about your town. How is inflation different from other places you hear about? Maybe your town feels calm, like Japan. Maybe prices rise a little faster, like Germany. Or maybe you have stories like Argentina or Egypt, where every small choice matters. Understanding inflation in the world helps us see our own life more clearly. As we continue, we will explore the future of inflation, how families, businesses, and countries prepare for tomorrow. We will imagine solutions, hope, and clever ways people plan for the future. This is the next part of our journey, and it will help us see the big picture of life, money, and planning. Imagine a small town again. Streets are busy, shops full of people, children running to school. At first, inflation feels small, like a little wind blowing through the town. Prices rise slowly. Maybe bread costs a little more, milk a little more. Families adjust, businesses plan, and life seems normal. But what happens when inflation continues for months or even years? This is when long-term effects appear. Let's start with families. Imagine the Ahmed family, which we met before. Last year, they could buy enough food, pay for school, and save a little for treats. This year, prices are higher. Next year, prices rise again. If wages do not rise as fast as prices, the family must make difficult choices. Maybe they buy less meat, reduce electricity use, or skip small luxuries. Over time, small sacrifices add up. Children notice, parents worry, and families plan more carefully. This is the long-term effect of inflation. It slowly changes everyday life. Businesses also feel the impact. Mr. Kareem, the baker, must buy flour, sugar, and eggs at higher prices every month. If inflation continues, he may need to raise prices regularly. Customers may buy less, or competitors may lower quality to reduce costs. Businesses must plan for the future, invest carefully, and sometimes adapt by introducing new products or services. Long-term inflation can create uncertainty, but it also encourages creativity and clever planning. Communities, too, are affected. Imagine a town where prices rise for years. Some people may move to bigger cities to find work. Small shops may close if they cannot manage costs. Schools and hospitals may need more funding. Communities adapt by sharing resources, creating local markets, or supporting small businesses. Long-term inflation changes the rhythm of life, but people find ways to survive together. Now, think about education. Children may notice higher prices for books, uniforms, or school lunches. Families must plan more carefully for school costs. Some children may start learning money management early, saving coins, helping with small family businesses, or finding creative ways to earn money. Inflation teaches lessons not only about prices, but also about responsibility, planning, and problem-solving. Here is a story. In a small city, a woman named Sophia noticed prices rising for years. At first, it was small. Bread cost a little more, milk a little more. Then, wages did not rise as fast. Sophia started planning meals carefully, buying only what she needed and growing vegetables at home. She taught her children about saving, smart shopping, and finding opportunities. Years later, her family was strong, resilient, and prepared for challenges. Sophia's story shows that long-term inflation is not only a challenge, it is also a teacher. Now, let's think about governments and banks. If inflation continues for a long time, they must act to stabilize the economy. They may adjust interest rates, change taxes, or control prices. Long-term planning is necessary to prevent crises. Imagine a family planning for 10 years. They need stable prices to save for school, housing, and emergencies. Governments work to create that stability. Another effect of long-term inflation is on savings. Money saved today may lose value if prices rise too fast. This is why families learn to save wisely, invest carefully, and plan for the future. Skills like budgeting, comparing prices, and earning extra income become more important. Children who grow up during inflation often become skilled at money management, planning, and problem solving. Think about your life. Even small changes, saving a little money, spending carefully, noticing prices, can help you manage inflation over time. Each choice builds skills and prepares you for the future. Inflation may feel invisible, but its long-term effects shape families, businesses, and communities. Before we move forward, imagine your town 10 years from now. Streets full of people, markets buzzing, children learning, families planning. Prices rise slowly, people adjust, businesses adapt, and communities find new ways to survive. This is the story of long-term inflation, challenges, learning, adaptation, and growth. As we continue, the next section will explore how individuals and families prepare for the future, turning challenges into opportunities and learning life lessons from inflation. This is where we see hope, strategy, and smart planning come together. Imagine a quiet evening in your town. The sun is setting, markets are closing, and families are returning home. Life goes on, but in homes and businesses, people think about tomorrow. They plan, save, and learn from the past. Inflation may be rising, but it also teaches valuable lessons. Today, we explore how people prepare for the future, using smart choices to live well even when prices change. Let's return to the Ahmed family. They have experienced small price rises and sometimes bigger ones. They have learned many lessons: how to plan meals, save money, shop wisely, and even grow vegetables at home. But these lessons are more than just survival. They are preparation for the future. By understanding money, prices, and planning, they build skills that will help them for years. Imagine a student named Anna. She wants to go to college one day. She notices that books, tuition, and daily expenses are rising. Anna decides to save a little every week. She also learns skills like baking, tutoring younger children, and helping her neighbors. These small efforts may seem tiny, but over time they grow. Anna is preparing for a future where she can manage her money, adapt to challenges, and take opportunities. Businesses also prepare for the future. Mr. Kareem, the baker, plans for years ahead. He invests in better ovens, teaches his children how to run the bakery, and creates new products to attract more customers. Even when prices rise, his planning ensures that his bakery will survive and thrive. Preparing for the future means thinking long-term, not only about today. Another important lesson is flexibility. Life is unpredictable. Prices may rise faster than expected. Supplies may change. Families and businesses that are flexible, able to adapt, and find new ways are more successful. For example, Lena, the shopkeeper, learned to offer smaller portions, share resources, and adjust her prices carefully. Flexibility is a superpower during inflation. We also learn about teamwork and community. Families share tips, neighbors help each other, and communities support small businesses. Imagine a small town where everyone exchanges advice about saving money, growing food, or finding cheap supplies. This support helps people face challenges together. Inflation may test people, but it also brings families and communities closer. Now, think about your own life. How can you prepare for the future? Maybe you can save a little money each week. Maybe you can learn new skills like cooking, tutoring, or helping in a family business. Maybe you can plan shopping carefully or grow small things at home. Each small step is preparation, turning challenges into opportunities. Here is a story from real life. In a city far away, a young man named Omar noticed prices rising quickly. Instead of worrying, he learned new skills. He started repairing bicycles, helping neighbors, and saving small amounts of money. Over a few years, Omar built a small business, helped his family, and never felt helpless during inflation. Omar's story shows that preparation, learning, and creativity turn challenges into opportunities. Think about your town 10 years from now. Streets full of people, shops busy, children learning about money, families planning meals. Prices may still rise, but people are ready. They know how to plan, save, adapt, and work together. Preparing for the future is not about controlling everything. It is about learning skills, making smart choices, and staying flexible. Before we move forward, pause for a moment and imagine your own day. What small choices could you make today that help you tomorrow? Saving a little, learning a skill, planning meals, or helping someone in your family or community. These small actions build strength for the future. Inflation may challenge you, but it can also teach you lessons about life, responsibility, and creativity. As we continue, the next section will explore real-life stories of hope and success during inflation, showing how people turn challenges into opportunities, even in difficult times. This is where inspiration meets practical lessons. Imagine walking through a busy market. Shops are full, streets are noisy, and families are buying food and supplies. Prices are higher than last year, but life continues. Some people feel worried, some feel frustrated, but many find ways to succeed even during inflation. Today, we will hear real-life stories of hope and clever solutions that show how people adapt and thrive. Let's start with Lena, the small shopkeeper we met before. Her town faced high inflation. Prices of vegetables, bread, and milk rose quickly. Many families worried. Lena noticed that some customers could not afford full portions of food. Instead of raising prices too high, she divided goods into smaller portions and offered discounts for children and elders. People trusted her, and her shop stayed busy. Lena not only survived inflation, she became a respected member of her community. Her story shows that kindness, planning, and understanding people's needs can create success even in tough times. Now let's meet Omar, a young man from another city. He saw prices rising quickly, and he worried about his future. Instead of panicking, Omar learned new skills. He repaired bicycles, helped neighbors with small tasks, and saved a little money each week. Over time, he built a small business repairing and renting bicycles. Inflation was challenging, but Omar's preparation, creativity, and patience turned difficulty into opportunity. He shows that small efforts, done consistently, create long-term success. Another story comes from a baker named Mr. Kareem. Flour and sugar were becoming expensive. Many bakeries raised prices too fast, and customers complained. Mr. Kareem adjusted differently. He made smaller cakes at the same price, introduced new products like pastries and bread rolls, and taught his children to help in the shop. Slowly, his bakery became popular. Families returned every day because they trusted him. His story shows that flexibility, innovation, and community focus can help people thrive, even when prices rise. Even students face challenges, but they can find opportunities. Anna, the student we met before, noticed books and tuition rising. She saved coins, borrowed books from the library, and tutored younger children for extra income. Over time, she not only managed her expenses, but also learned valuable life skills, planning, saving, and working hard. Her story reminds us that challenges can teach lessons that last a lifetime. Think about families in countries with high inflation. Parents teach children how to plan meals, grow vegetables at home, and save coins. Children learn money management early. Some start small businesses, like selling snacks or helping neighbors. These stories may seem small, but together, they show that people everywhere adapt, survive, and even thrive during inflation. Here is a story from a distant city. A young woman named Sophia wanted to buy materials to make handmade crafts. Prices rose quickly, and many people could not afford crafts. Sophia adjusted. She created smaller, affordable products, sold online, and taught local children to make crafts too. Over time, she built a small business, earned money, and supported her family. Sophia's story shows that opportunity exists even in difficult times if we are creative, flexible, and patient. Now, think about your own life. Maybe prices are rising where you live. Maybe you feel worried or unsure. But these stories show that hope, preparation, creativity, and patience can make a difference. Small efforts every day, learning new skills, saving money, and helping others can turn challenges into success. Take a moment and imagine walking through a town filled with families, students, and small business owners. Prices rise, but people adapt. Shops are busy, children learn skills, and families plan carefully. Life continues, and slowly, people find ways to succeed. Inflation may be challenging, but human creativity, effort, and hope make life possible. Before we move forward, pause and reflect. What small steps could you take today to prepare for the future? Saving a little, learning a skill, helping someone, or planning carefully. Every small choice is part of a larger story, a story of hope, resilience, and success. As we continue, the next section will focus on reflection and key lessons from inflation, helping us understand life, money, and smart choices even more clearly. Imagine sitting quietly at the end of a long day. The sun is setting, streets are calm, and families are at home after busy mornings and afternoons. This is a good moment to reflect on everything we have learned about inflation, its challenges, lessons, and the ways people adapt. First, remember that inflation is an invisible force. Prices rise slowly or quickly, and money loses a little or a lot of value over time. You may notice it in small things: bread, milk, bus tickets, snacks. You may feel it in your family's budget or in how businesses plan for the future. Even though we cannot see inflation, we feel it in daily life. Recognizing this is the first important lesson: awareness. Second, inflation teaches planning and careful decision-making. Families like the Ahmeds and shopkeepers like Lena show us that planning meals, budgeting money, shopping wisely, and saving small amounts make a big difference. Even children can learn these lessons, saving coins, borrowing books, or sharing snacks. Planning is a skill we practice every day, and inflation gives us a real reason to use it. Third, inflation shows the importance of adaptability. Life is not always predictable. Prices rise, wages may stay the same, and goods may become scarce. People who are flexible, finding new ways to shop, creating small businesses, or changing routines can thrive even in challenging times. Stories like Omar fixing bicycles or Sophia selling crafts remind us that creativity and flexibility are powerful tools. Fourth, we learn the value of community and support. Inflation can feel difficult when faced alone. But when families, neighbors, and communities work together, sharing tips, helping each other, and supporting small businesses, they make life easier and safer. This is a lesson about people. Kindness and cooperation can help us overcome challenges. Fifth, inflation teaches us about preparation for the future. Saving money, learning skills, planning carefully, and thinking long-term are all ways to prepare for changes. Families who plan, students who save, and business owners who innovate show us that preparation is not just about money, it is about building a life that can handle challenges. Let's pause and think about one more thing. Inflation is not only about money, it is about life skills. Planning, patience, creativity, adaptability, and cooperation are all skills that help us in school, work, and daily life. Inflation gives real-life examples of these lessons. Now, imagine a small town again. Streets busy in the morning, children learning in schools, shops filled with people. Prices rise, but families adjust. Businesses innovate. Communities support each other. Students learn to save and plan. Life continues. And through all of this, people learn, grow, and become stronger. Before we move to the final section, take a moment to reflect. What lessons can you take from inflation into your own life? Maybe you will start saving a little money, planning your meals, helping your family, or learning a new skill. Every small choice builds strength and prepares you for the future. The last section will bring everything together: a takeaway summary, inspiration, and encouragement. It will close our journey with hope, practical advice, and a clear understanding of how inflation shapes life and teaches important lessons. Imagine the sun rising over your town again. Streets are lively, markets are full, and families prepare for the day ahead. Prices may rise, money may feel a little weaker, but life goes on. Today, we have walked together through the story of inflation, its challenges, lessons, and the clever ways people adapt. Now, it is time to take everything we learned and see the big picture. First, remember this: inflation is part of life. It affects families, businesses, and communities everywhere. Prices may rise slowly or quickly, but this invisible force teaches us to notice, plan, and adapt. By paying attention to daily changes like the cost of bread, milk, or bus tickets, we understand the world around us better. Second, the story of inflation shows the importance of small, consistent actions. Families who budget, students who save, shopkeepers who adjust, and business owners who innovate, these small choices make a big difference over time. Saving a few coins, planning meals, learning a new skill, or helping neighbors may feel small, but they are powerful tools for the future. Third, flexibility and creativity are key. Life is unpredictable. Prices rise, wages may stay the same, and challenges appear. People who adapt, try new ideas, and remain flexible can survive and even thrive. Stories like Omar repairing bicycles, Lena helping customers, and Sophia selling crafts remind us that every challenge can also be an opportunity. Fourth, community and support matter. Families, neighbors, and communities working together can overcome difficulties faster and more easily. Sharing advice, helping each other, and cooperating builds trust and makes life better for everyone. Inflation may test us, but it also brings people closer. Fifth, preparation is power. Saving, planning, learning skills, and thinking ahead prepare us for tomorrow. Even small efforts today can protect us from rising prices in the future. Skills learned during challenges, patience, problem-solving, and planning last a lifetime. Now, take a moment and reflect. Think about your own life. Maybe you're a student, a young worker, or someone helping your family. Prices may rise, money may feel tight, but you have the power to plan, save, learn, and adapt. Every small action you take today builds a stronger, smarter future. Let's end with a story of hope. In a small town, families and shopkeepers face rising prices. Children save coins, parents plan meals, and shopkeepers adjust carefully. Life is not always easy, but every day, people learn, grow, and help each other. This is the story of life with inflation: challenges, learning, creativity, and resilience. Finally, remember this: inflation may be invisible, but your actions are visible. Planning, saving, adapting, learning, and helping others are all ways to control your future. You can face challenges with calm, confidence, and creativity. Every small choice counts, and every lesson makes you stronger. Thank you for joining this journey on Fluent English Journey. Today, you have not only learned about inflation, but also practiced English listening, understood real-life stories, and discovered lessons about life, planning, and hope. Keep practicing, stay curious, and remember, every small step you take brings you closer to understanding the world and speaking English confidently. Take a deep breath, smile, and step into your day with new knowledge, new skills, and a confident mind. Inflation is part of life, but so are creativity, preparation, and hope. You are ready.